CFA Nation, Gabe.
Nick.
I cannot point wrong when we're in the same room. Yes.
No lag.
Guys, we're here today to give you our prediction, and our preview of the third test match. To me, the most important test match between India and England. All right. Why do you say it's the most important? Because literally, England has to go 3-1 in order to go to the ICC Championship. If they go 2-1, 2-2, it doesn't matter. So England needs this one, and I feel if they lose this one, then what's the point with playing all your guns in that fourth test match? Get those guys ready for T20. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they're going to throw all their eggs in a basket in this one. You may see some changes to the lineup. I'm super excited about that. My man, Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm a little stressed out because, like you said, this is probably the most important match. Because England won the first one, this becomes the most important match. Not just because of the stakes. Because if England loses this, India's not guaranteed to be in there yet. Australia could still squeak in there. India has to win this one and at least draw the next one. Or win it. That'd be great too. This one is very stressful because it's pink ball cricket. It's in a new stadium. Whole lot of information. I saw an article where Rohit Sharma was saying, people stop talking about the pitch. It's still cricket. But then another where he's talking about how he expects, I believe, this wicket to be very similar to the second test wicket in the second match in Chennai where it was like a beach or whatever. So, especially with how the pink SG ball is going to react on a dry wicket, it's going to be a dry pitch. It's going to be very, very interesting. I know India does not fare well in pink ball. I know they haven't played a lot of pink ball matches as well.
Right.
I'm not sure how many England has. We know that India played pink ball in Australia, so they had a little bit of recent experience with test. But there's so much riding on this match. As far as when we're recording this, we don't see any definite 11 for both sides, so we have some problems that we'll get into.
Right.
But thank you for joining us for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll get that out of the way right now. We're just going to be talking about our thoughts for this match, what we think we're going to expect, and whatever else we want to say here on CFA Nation. Gabe, the floor is yours.
So, I did a little research because I'm like, wait a minute. I heard Bogley mention that India had played 3 pink ball test matches and that England had played 2. Basically, they don't have a lot of experience with the pink ball. And I'm like, how's that possible? And then I did research. Pink ball is a rather new thing that came out because they wanted to compete with T20. Now, I still don't understand how that helps them compete T20, that twilight day-night game. But that was the idea behind it, to get them to be able to compete with T20. I'm like, okay, to get Test to compete with T20. And I'm like, all right, I guess. And I think that's in the story of, which is also on Crick Buzz. It's called The Story of Day-Night Test Cricket. If you haven't seen the story, check it out. But that's where I got that bit of information there.
Well, I would think that they want to use it to compete because they can play it at nighttime, prime time, for viewing eyes, where obviously you're not going to play at like 1 in the morning, so you can have that prime time near the end of the match as opposed to starting at nighttime.
Right.
No, starting early in the morning and going and being able to have to finish by like whatever it is, 4:30, 5 o'clock before the night comes in. So I'm thinking that's what it is. Obviously, you're not going to play the entire night, correct? But you want to be able to have that so when it does get dark, you have those primetime eyes. It's supposed to start 2:30 local time, all right? 2:30 local time. It's 1 a.m. our time. But that's what I'm thinking. You have those primetime hours, and you don't have to worry about the ball.
Now, here's another thing about I respect Robbie Ashwin. I do. Saying, and that's what athletes are supposed to say. Man, listen, forget about the pitch. Stop talking about the pitch. Stop talking about we're going to go up, show up and play, right? No excuses. Regardless. They got to play on the same pitch we got to play, and vice versa. You really didn't hear him complain about the first pitch, which yielded 1,000 runs, which that was a flat pitch, and as a spinner, that's not good for a spinner. And he didn't complain, so I get it as an athlete. But the conditions and, more importantly, the ball matters. In baseball, they changed the ball to what we call the juice ball, all right? Those new balls. And literally the last 3 years, there's been more home runs hit in baseball than even the steroid era, because it makes a difference how you wind those balls if you change it. Well, the SG ball, the pink ball, again, some of the research I realized is that it's only dipped one time. The others dipped one time to get at that pink color, and there's less gloss on it or sheen. So what happens is there's less resistance. So that's why it acts different in the air. So you can't tell me that's not going to matter. Plus, oh, by the way, you also get that reverse swing that we saw teams in Australia take advantage of when you had guys that can move the ball around and those guys that could seam the ball. I mean, that's why I'm later in our predictions of who they're going to play, they better play both Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. This is your only chance. That the pink ball, it's going to move. You're going to be able to have it seam and move on the outside, but who knows? England has to make some tough decisions. But it matters, and this pink ball matters, and obviously, I think that the fact that we don't have any history, because one team's got 3, one team's got 2, and by the way, it's a brand new pitch, we don't know what we're in store for. We have no idea what to expect.
And that's what makes it exciting. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, is this guy impressive or what? I mean, look, the guy comes in with the research. This guy's talking about the ball and the reverse swing. So let's talk. You mentioned Broad and Anderson. Let's talk about the players. So I'm going to read the probable from crickbuzz.com for each squad. So the probable 11 for India, probable is Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, he's better bounce back, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Pant, Ashwin, Patel, Axar Patel, Ishant Sharma, Umesh Yadav, and Jasprit Bumrah. I'm not surprised by Jasprit Bumrah's name whatsoever. We haven't seen Yadav since, like the first or the second test in Australia. I think he might have gotten injured. But they were doing such great things with the spinning attack that they had before. They still got Patel in there and Ashwin. And those two, I mean, let's be honest, those two were the best ones. Yeah. Kuldeep Yadav does not go in there, so they put in Umesh Yadav. But anything about those 11 that surprises you?
I think they're expecting spin, obviously, but they replace that third spinner with more of a pacer because they're expecting that you're going to need to get some swing on the ball. So, I mean, there was no doubt. Guess what? Boomer's back. Yeah, Boomer's back. We're bringing Boomer. That wasn't even a question.
One I'm a little surprised
and Ishant Sharma, same thing. But yes, Yadav. And this is Ishant Sharma's 100th test match, which is impressive. You know what I'm saying? It's super impressive for a pace bowler. You know, it's one of those things where we're really going to see that they don't know. India's strength is spin, but they decided to only go with 2, predominant spinners and 3. So they don't know what's going to happen, but they know what happens with that pink ball, and they know that it could start swinging, so they might as well get some pace guys in there. So I think it was smart on their behalf.
And I guess if you look at it as far as, okay, we don't have Kuldeep Yadav, who he bowled a lot better in the second innings of that match.
Right.
But not to me like so dominant. We're like, we've got to have this guy on the roster. And you're bringing Bumrah back, so you know he's going to take a spot. I understand that because your most successful spinners were Patel and Ashwin. You have those two guys. You're going to sacrifice that third spinner for another pace bowler. But I guess I'm just a little surprised. Maybe Umesh Yadav has great success in India. Maybe has great success in the region here where they're going to be playing in Ahmedabad. But I'm just a little surprised by that because for me, from what I've seen, again, you come to CFA for the perspective of guys that have been watching it for over a year now.
Right.
For me, from my perspective, he hasn't blown me away.
Right.
So to sacrifice that third spinner for another pace bowler, and I'm going to use the word sacrifice, for someone that has not blown me away at least, I'm a little surprised. Again, this is just the probable. We can watch the match in less than 12 hours and be like, oh, he's not even in there. But this is what CrickBuzz is saying. I'm assuming they've probably done their due diligence to try to figure out what's going on. As far as the batting side, I mentioned Gill. He needs to turn it up. You know, you got Sharma doing amazing things, right? Kohli did some great things in that second inning. Pant did some great things in that first innings. And then, of course, your all-rounders did some amazing things as well. Ashwin had a century. The most important thing for me is the 2-3 guys, Gill and Pujara, because you know what you're going to get from Sharma and Kohli in either the first or the second innings or both. You just know, and I've learned that. But with Gill and Pujara, with how they looked in the last one compared to what they have done in the past, those to me are the most important batsmen in this lineup because if Gill can, stay aggressive but not too aggressive, and Pujara can do Pujara things, then it can really slow things down, but also keep the bowling attack off balance, whether they have reverse swing or not. Protect that wicket, and then you're talking about, man, these guys are really tough to beat in this third match, and England has to have this third match. Those are my two, in my opinion, most important batsmen. What are yours for India?
For me, I think it's Pujara, simply because you got to be able to that first and second session, right? It's going to be under normal conditions, because this game starts at 2:30. But by the third session, it's going to be nighttime. Yep. And if you're Pujara, you got to stay out there, because wickets will drop, okay? And you don't want to get blown, at the end. I think that Pujara has an ability to not just score runs, but he has the ability to play a lot of balls, you know what I'm saying? And eat up a lot of overs. And that's what you're going to want, because you're not going to want the guys that can score but need the ideal conditions. It'd be bad if Ashwin had a bat tonight, you know what I mean? If you're Indian, you win the toss, you want to go to bat on day two, you know what I'm saying? So that the bottom order or the tail end gets to bat at the on day 2, back under the lights. But at night, you really don't want to put guys down there that don't have the command of the strike, you know what I mean, and aren't in a position to be able to defend that. So for me, I think that that Pujara, bottom line, is the most important, probably along with Kohli. I think Kohli needs to definitely take this team on his back. He understands the pressure that these kids are under right now. And I say kids, some of them are grown men, but some of them are young. But right. They understand how big this game is. For me, Mohammad Shami, this tells me that Mohammad Shami, going back to your comment about Umesh Yadav, this tells me Mohammad Shami's still not fit. You know what I'm saying? And because guarantee you, he would have been in there if he could play. Absolutely. But, God,
could you imagine that?
They broke his arm. Exactly. India's still playing with a lot of injured players. This isn't their ideal lineup if this is what they're going to go to.
Yeah, and that's a great point about Shami, because, that would just be ice on the cake right there. As far as the probable 11 for England, do you want to read the probable 11?
So England has Rory Burns or Zach Crowley. I think it should be Zach Crowley. I'm done with Rory Burns, honestly. If they put back, I think Rory Burns is like an honorary member of the cricket team. He don't even got to check. He knows he's in the lineup. That's a coach's kid. Whoever played Little League over here, coach's kid. That's who he is, coach's kid. He's always in there. They love Rory Burns for some reason. Just saying, bro. Oh, he's driving me nuts.
The hair.
Is that what it is? Don Sibley, Johnny Bairstow, Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Ali Pope, Ben Folkes, Don Best, Chris Wokes, Jofra Archer, which I didn't think Archer was fit.
I didn't think so.
Jack
either.
Leach and Jimmy Anderson. And if they go, and you can see that they're not even, Crick Buzz is not sure what they're doing.
They didn't even mention Stuart Broad as a problem.
But they left Stuart Broad out. This is the game. If you lose this, you're out of the Test Championship. You put your best guy in there. India understands that the ball is going to move. It's going to be seen. You don't want to have that many spinners in any which way. So go with 2 spinners or, a all-rounder. But you got to put your best. And Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad combined have 1,100 wickets. 1,100 wickets. I mean, I don't explain that to me. And I hope this isn't what they do. Like I said, I did not think Jofra Archer was fit. But in my opinion, it should be Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, Leach, and Don Best. That's what I would go with, okay? And then, as far as an all-rounder, of course, you got Ben Stokes in there. But that's what I would go with. If India at home is thinking, yeah, we better not load up on spinners, don't you think England should think the same? I don't get it. Why? And I get it. People are going to say, well, it's the rotation policy. Come on.
But see, the interesting thing is this has Don Best or Chris Wokes. Wokes is pace. Don Best is spinner. So they're saying it could be a toss-up whether they're going to do a second spinner or not. But they didn't even have Stuart Broad in the conversation. I would think it would say Jimmy Anderson / Stuart Broad. We know Jimmy Anderson's going to be in there because he missed the second match. There was no reason for him to miss the second match. I would have Jimmy Anderson, Jack Leach, Jofra Archer, Stuart Broad, and Don Best. That's what I would have. But they're going. This is interesting because they're going with the. They're mentioning Ben Stokes. He's going to play no matter what as one of their possible bowlers because they only have 1, 2, 3, 4 pure bowling spots. Chris Wokes can be an all-rounder. Jofra Archer can be an all-rounder. The other
Jofra
guys,
Archer is not playing first and foremost, and he's a bowler that can bat, but he's not a proper all-rounder.
He can be an all-rounder. He can be dangerous.
Right? I know what you're saying. The tail wags. I mean, the guy, I've seen him hit 40, 50 and make that tail wag. So I see what you're saying. But he's hurt. I don't think he's playing.
I mean, you would think that, right? But they have it here. Who knows how long ago they updated this. But the interesting thing to me is they're going with a lot of batsmen once again. You got Burns or Crawley, that's one. Sibley, Bairstow, Root, Stokes, Pope, Folks. All right? Did I just count 8 guys? No, there's no way that's 8 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. All right? 7 guys. They did the same thing in the second test match in Chennai. Didn't work out too good. They barely got any runs. They got like 280 combined or 300 combined in both innings. They went for, I get, you don't want to quit your thing, but you got to get wickets. And you got to go with, to your point, your best. It doesn't matter if Stuart Broad was not his best in the last match.
Right.
It doesn't even matter if his subcontinent record is not that great, in my opinion, because when you need a game, who are you? I mean, that's what sports fans always say. If you got to have a guy who's going to win a game for you, who are you going to get? And you got to throw Stuart Broad in there. So for someone that's rooting for India in this match, thank you so much if he's not going to go in there. Now, again, this can change before the match starts, but this is interesting to me. What's really interesting is they got Ben Folks locked in their wicketkeeper, and they have Bairstow there in the lineup. I obviously have not seen a lot of Ben Folks. I have not.
Right.
I don't understand why he's a lock there at wicketkeeper. Maybe he's got serious wicketkeeping skills. We know what Bairstow can do at wicketkeeper, but I don't remember them throwing Bairstow in a test match with another wicketkeeper when he's not the pure wicketkeeper just for the bat.
Right.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but I'm a little surprised by that. What are your thoughts about Bairstow being in there?
Well, I think they needed it. Bottom line, they needed another legit bat, and that's what he brings. Now, I was saying in the last test match, you bring in Bairstow because he has a possibility to give you 100, even though Folks had gotten like 47 or something like that.
Yeah.
But he ain't Johnny Bairstow, cousin, and Bairstow can absolute flat out rake. He has the.
He can also duck.
He can also give away his wicket. I'll be the first to say that.
Don't hit the stumps.
Yeah. Out by hit stump. It had to be Bairstow. You got to be kidding me, man. But he can rake, and I think that they realized that they needed more firepower. With that being said, to me, the batting is fine. The batting is going to do what it's going to do. For me, I'm more concerned with. Everybody talks about how the pink ball swings, right? The big pink ball swings. Jimmy Anderson is the king of swing, but Stuart Broad ain't bad. Stuart Broad is also a swing specialist, right? Those guys, those seamers, they know how to get that ball to swing. Why not bring them out there? I do not understand that. I do like they have Ali Pope in there, and I will say, I don't think that they can afford not to have 7 batsmen, Nick, because they got to score some runs. I'm just telling you, because they already know what happened this last game, and they're like, all right, we got to score some runs. I don't know why Rory Burns like honorary guy there. Not that Zach Crowley was great, because remember, when Zach Crowley was struggling, we were like, oh, he needs to get dropped. You know what I'm saying? Here comes Rory Burns. He needs to get dropped. I think the problem is that they don't got a proper opener, okay? Just say it. Just saying. They need another guy up there.
Very few teams do.
That's a good point. It's so hard to do.
Yes.
Just say it. Parents at home, if your kid can play cricket, teach him to be an opener, all right? Just say it. He may make some money. That or bowl, because the IPL is giving away the bag. If you can bowl, they're giving away the bag. I'm telling you. Your boy Maxey for RCB, he earned that money a couple days ago. Yeah,
one
he did.
run. Stop it. You gotta stop rooting for my man Maxwell.
Anyway, but you know what, dude? I'm excited for this match. Absolutely. I really think it's gonna be a classic as far as this is the first Test championship. Everybody wants to be there. If you're saying, it doesn't matter. See that face? Stop it. It's just like when I go home and I open up the refrigerator. Who ate the big piece of chicken? And none of my kids. Stop it. It's just like when my bank account. Who went shopping? Nobody knows. Stop it. That's a face I give them, all right? Stop it. It's a big deal. You want to be in the Test championship, and this is the biggest one. If you're England and you lose this one, or you even draw this one, you're done.
Goodbye.
You're done. So I think England's going to try to pull out all the stops. However...
Those are all the stops?
I mean, bruh. they're trying to listen. Jofra Archer's hurt, and they're like, "You're not that hurt. What? A pulled oblique would give you a shot." Because that's how my hurt is. He was unfit, but that's pulling out all the stops. You're okay. You could play. You know what I'm saying? Just push him out there or whatever. But yeah, I think they're pulling out all the stops. I think that it's gonna be tough for them regardless. Because A, it isn't India. B, they got even less experience in India with the pink ball. And really, nobody knows what this pitch is going to do. So they couldn't properly prepare for it. Does that make sense? And I think India's kind of giving away their hand saying, we're probably going to go with 2 spinners. Now, again, this is hypothetical. We're not going to go with that 3rd spinner, which means they don't expect to spin. And India can play the spin, but they can also rake. Don't forget, in that first pitch that was flat, they put up like 400 runs or whatever. It just so happens that the first team that was up there batting earlier and had the newer ball was able to put up tons of runs. But even on because England batted day 1 and day 2, so India didn't come up to bat till day 3 on that flat pitch. In the first match. And they still put up 400 runs, cousin. So don't tell me. They know they can rake. So, those are my last thoughts. Your last thoughts for you, my friend?
I want to know, first of all, I can't imagine this pitch is going to be the same as it was in the second match in Chennai. If it does, we saw how India was able to, and Rohit Sharma was a huge part of that, able to survive on that. So that would be interesting. If it is a similar pitch, I want to know how many hot pocket performances are we going to have, okay? If you don't know what that is, that means a duck, 5 or less. Not enough time for me to cook a hot pocket while you're out there at the stumps.
Bro.
If England has 3 hot pocket performances in the first 7 guys, good night, right? In that first inning, because you just cannot allow that to happen. India, you better not have any Gil, we love you to death. He loves you a little more. No hot pocket performance. We need to have, we're talking about, roasted turkey. Not deep fried turkey.
Bro.
Roasted turkey, 4 hours at least out there.
Rush. I want to know, and this is completely off the topic, but what were they serving out there in New Zealand, all right? Maybe that's why New Zealand does good at home, because they must cook some good food. Because on both sides, all right, in the power play, 19 for 3, all right? You lost Seifert, you lost, I forget who opens up there as well with them, and you lost Kane Williamson. And on the Australian side, really quick.
Everybody.
He's everybody. Aaron Finch, gone in the first over. First over, okay. Hot pocket. Let us know. What are they serving in the clubhouse that these guys are in a rush to get back?
Wasn't the highest score for Australia 12 or something?
Actually, it was 45 by Mitchell Marsh. But still, I'm like, everybody else was in the rush, bro. We had so many single-digit guys and one run guys. I'm like, what is going on?
They must have had one of those super-duper microwaves that cook things really fast.
Dude, they're like, bing, my hot pocket's done. I gotta go.
They're just like, you got a bunch of guys that don't like cold food, I guess. They want it right away hot. I gotta go bat now? I just cooked the pepperoni and cheese. How many hot pocket performances are we gonna have? I want that to trend around the world in the cricket world. Hot pocket performance.
Oh, that's classic.
This is gonna be insane. Obviously, the 2 biggest names in this match is Joe Root, Virat Kohli. How are they going to do, not just as captains, but as lead by example? We saw Joe Root go down early in both innings. He didn't do too bad. I think he got 40 in one of them, but went down early in both of those. He just averaged above the root line, so that's okay. Virat Kohli, I want to see this guy give us a century in the worst way. We'll see what these captains can do. I'm sure they're all very calm and even keel, and they're ready to go out there and take it. The biggest thing is who's going to win, all right? I want a prediction. Who's going to win, and are they going to win it in less than 5 days?
I will say no way this match goes 5 days. No way, because you're going to see some hot pocket. Listen, once you're under the lights, you're going to see some hot pocket performances.
We can see cases out there.
Bro, we can see 3 wickets fall, right, in the first 2 sessions, and then boom, the other 7 are going to fall at night once that ball starts swinging. It's dinner time. We got to go. I'm telling you, I don't think it goes 5 days. And I got to say advantage India, man. Again, simply because I don't understand not bringing in Stuart Broad, the guy that can get movement on the ball. And India, remember, they won the last game without Boomer. You know what I'm saying? They got Boomer back. He's such a weapon. It's tough because I want England I predicted in a preview show that it was going to go 2-2. This is the one they need to win to go 2-2. But I think it's probably going to be India, man. It's just not looking good.
Draw?
Dude, and I was actually watching one of the announcers crazy talking, right, as I'm doing some research or whatever, and they're saying that on the England side, they were telling their pace bowlers to slow down a little bit because the ball's moving around too much, and the guys can't get in good. Are you serious? In practice? Because they've been practicing both at day and night, and at practice they were having trouble, man. So if they had trouble with Jimmy Anderson at practice, you don't think they're going to have trouble with Boomer, cousin? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think they're going to have trouble with Sharma? It's rough, man.
If you got tickets for this match and you only got days 4 or 5, sorry. I
try to trade it in.
They're like, dang it. No wonder they were so cheap. I want India to win. I think India will win, but I'm not putting anything past England. I think it's going to be a 5-day match. I think it's going to be a tough match. I think this potentially could be one of those matches that, even if it's not 5 days, that's going to be one that we're going to talk about for a while. And I don't know why. I just feel like this is going to be such a historic match for whatever reason. You mentioned Ishant Sharma's 100th match. There's going to be other reasons for the type of historic thing. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what these men are made out of, but I think if India draw, if they lose, then they're done with the World Chess Championship. But if they draw, then all the pressure is to get that win. And then England at least has the motivation to play spoiler and kick them out. So there's still a lot of motivation. The question is, what do you all think, right? Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what you think about this upcoming match and how excited you are. And, with all that being said, thanks so much for listening. Until next time.
That's 6 runs.